My next guest is a former journalist, and he's an author who has Environmental Entrepreneurs, or E2, a national nonpartisan group of business leaders committed to policies that are good for the economy and the environment. He is Bob Keefe, and he's here to talk about his new book, Climatenomics: Washington, Wall Street, and the Economic Battle to Save Our Planet. Bob Keefe, welcome to Bay Area Focus.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on.
Good to have you with us. And you call the economic impact of climate change an economic earthquake. That definitely gets your attention. How would you say climate change has transformed into an economic issue?
Well, it's transformed into an economic issue because it's costing every one of us every day, Lynn. Look, last year alone, the United States had $150 billion worth of damage from climate-related disasters. Wildfires, as we know of here in the West, but hurricanes in the East Coast, so many we ran out of names for them. Flooding and drought in our nation's heartland that's now helping drive up the cost of everything from chickens to cornflakes. In California alone, we've seen an average of between $5 billion and $10 billion a year in climate damage from wildfires and other disasters, drought, et cetera, here in this state. And then that's just the direct cost of these disasters, and they don't include the unexpected or the secondary costs. Look at what just happened in the Bay Area with the BART train that derailed in the East Bay. We had temperatures over 100 degrees in this area, sent cooling costs soaring. But also, somebody's got to pay to fix that rail out on the BART rail. Guess who that is? Me, you, and every American taxpayer. So this is starting to add up, and we've got to do something about it.
Yeah, we hear about climate change even more now, I feel, whether it's on television or on social media. Do you feel like more people, from elected officials to consumers, are getting the message?
Well, I certainly hope so, because, the point is climate change is not just an environmental issue anymore. It's not just a health issue. It's not just a social issue. It is all of those things, but it's now a pocketbook issue as well. And every one of us is paying the price for that.
Now, let's talk more about government responsibility. What can be done on federal, state, and local levels to reshape the economy?
Well, fortunately, here in California, we've had some great leadership when it comes to climate and clean energy over the years. My organization, E2, has been involved with some of that for the past 20 years, for instance. But we've seen the economic benefits of that, which is the other side of the climatenomics coin, as I like to say. We have 500,000 people now working in clean energy in California. We're the clean car capital of the world, and now we're working on getting our trucks and other vehicles cleaner, more energy efficient, and moving toward electric vehicles as well. Those are all important things, but we've got to approach this on a national level, on a global level, because let's face it, climate change is an international level that's impacting our entire planet. Right now, we have legislation that's been sitting in Congress since September that would include tax credits and other clean energy investments that could bring down the price of clean energy for all of us. It could bring down the cost of those electric vehicles. It could make energy efficiency programs more widely available. We need Congress to pass that. We need to do it now.
And what happens, in your opinion, Bob, if there is no action?
Well, fortunately, we're moving in the right direction on a lot of things. The good news is the technology has caught up with the problem that we have. Right now, solar and wind is the cheapest power available. Every single automaker is already shifting toward EVs because the technology is there, the technology is proven, and they know that we're all sick and tired of paying $5, $6, $7 a gallon for gasoline. Energy efficiency, simple things like LED lighting that has come on so strong in the past 10 years or so. High efficiency heating, air conditioning systems. Those things are all here. They weren't here 10 years ago. But the thing we need to do is make those things more affordable, more available to more Americans, and that's where policy comes in.
And in your book as well, you say businesses and investors can also play a role.
Absolutely. If you look at where all of the major companies are moving right now, especially tech companies and others in the Bay Area, every single one of them is moving toward getting their energy supplies through clean energy, solar, wind, renewables. Why? It's the right thing to do, of course, but the reason they're doing it is because, as I mentioned, it's the cheapest power available right now. All of the major delivery companies are looking at electric vehicles right now, again, because they're paying $5, $6, $7 a gallon for gasoline as well. So it becomes a bottom line issue. It's an economic issue. And, again, that's the reason I wrote the book, Climatenomics.
And it really can be a polarizing issue, right? Especially when it comes to political parties. What needs to happen for it to become less partisan?
Well, unfortunately, it is a partisan issue, but it shouldn't be. And here's why. Those climate disasters aren't just hitting blue states. They're not just hitting red states. They're hitting every single state from Louisiana and Mississippi to Indiana and every state in the Southeast with hurricanes. So this isn't something that's happening in somebody's backyard someplace else. It's not in the Arctic. It's not in some faraway Pacific island. It's in every American state. The flip side is, the good news is clean energy jobs are also happening in every single state. My organization, E2, has tracked clean energy job growth for the past 10 years or so. What we found is that there are almost as many clean energy jobs now in red states as there are in blue states, in Republican congressional districts as there are in Democratic congressional districts. And that's going to happen increasingly. So we can't just say that this is a political issue, because it's not.
And last question for you, Bob. How do we in the U.S. compare to other countries when it comes to dealing with the issues of climate change and clean energy?
Unfortunately, not as well as we used to. The Yale and Columbia recently came out with a study, for instance, that ranked every country around the world on where they are on climate and clean energy policy. A few years ago, we were number 15 on the list, which isn't that great for the country that's supposed to lead the world, right? But the most recent study that came out a month ago, the United States is now 101 on that list. We've lost a lot of ground over the past 5+ years, and we need to make it up, because other countries, including China, including Europe, countries in Europe and elsewhere, are already way ahead of us on investing in clean energy. And they're reaping the benefits with lower energy costs and with the jobs that come with that as well.
So it sounds like a lot more work to do to catch up. Bob, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, the book is Climatenomics: Washington, Wall Street, and the Economic Battle to Save Our Planet. You can get it on Amazon or at independent bookstores nationwide.